I have to get the father's side of this first. What's it like sailing with his son? Is he horrible to sail with?
It's always a fantastic experience, really. I mean, sailing with your son and sharing a passion for a particular sort of boat, we've had a fantastic few years, and I guess because we're family, we can say things and do things that you might not get away with other people. But what I found was my friends that I went sailing with all got too old to be very good in the front of a 14, and I found by threatening to remove his pocket money, he was quite keen to come sailing. So it's worked quite well.
Well, that's your side of the story. Now, Tom, what is your side?
Well, no, it's good because when you're in the boat, you can be honest with each other, and there's no hard feelings at the end of the day. If you make a mistake, you can admit to that, and that's the way it is. And it's kind of, once you've gone sailing, then that's sailing done, and you can carry on.
Okay, well, I'm glad there's harmony in the family anyway, because Tom's sister also is a sailor as well, so she's probably got a view on it as well. Now, Tom, while you got the microphone, tell us a bit about the front of the boat. You've got the asymmetric spinnaker, huge great thing to play with. Self-tacking jib now, of course, it makes it a bit easier since my day. But you also play the main sheet as well, so you end up doing all the work, don't you?
Yeah, it's an easy job to be a helm, really, nowadays. I suppose being young, it's not actually that demanding, really. It takes a bit. I only started in a 29er, so I didn't do that for very long. But after that, you get used to it, and it's not too challenging, really, at the end of the day. It's just keep control of your sails and you keep in control of the boat.
What about the coordination between you and the helmsman? You're both on trapeze, you're driving upwind, you've got the main sheet and he's only got the tiller. A lot of coordination between you.
Well, it comes down to, basically, for everything you do, you need to have a routine in the boat for each manoeuvre, even if going in a straight line, you need to have an idea of when a gust comes, what you're going to do, and then what my dad will do. And it's having that coordination between the two that makes the difference, really.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Now, we'll go back to Andy. Of course, the 14's developed twin wires, asymmetrics, the bigger rig, narrow boats, all the rest of it. So we got the turbochargers. Then a couple of years ago now, the T-foil on the back. Give us a rundown of what the T-foil does to a 14 and how you use it when you're sailing.
I mean, the T-foil has made a very significant difference to the boat in terms of it's fundamental to the tuning and the speed of the boat. I mean, for example, a couple of years ago we sailed against a boat without a T-foil. We had a T-foil, and the boats were pretty much the same, but one with the T-foil, one without. The performance difference was huge. So getting the T-foil right in terms of how you adjust it, how you build it, well, the shape of it is fundamental. So, to be honest, as Tom says, the helm has an awful lot to do. I've got to hold the tiller and I've got to adjust the rudder, and that's pretty much all I do. He hoists the spinnaker, he drops the spinnaker, he plays the main sheet, he pulls the jib in for me because it's quite difficult. But joking aside, the rudder and the trim of it is now the fundamental key to speed within a 14, and getting that right, getting the angle of trim is fundamental.
So tell us a bit about the angle of trim. When you're going upwind, are you trimming it up or down? Are you providing drag at the bottom or lift?
Basically what you're trying to do is you put the rudder on, so the foil is working as you're going upwind. That effectively gives the boat more lift. You can then trapeze further back in the boat. You get more of the weight over the foils, therefore the whole thing is more efficient. So in terms of upwind, it's really getting the foil on as much as you dare. And what we've found is sometimes you put the foil on so much that the front of the boat is actually going nose diving, and then you have to go back as far as possible in the boat. And the more dangerous that feels, the faster you go. That's the way it works.
What about downwind? What's the game there?
Downwind, having a T-foil really makes life a lot easier, to be honest, because before the T-foils, the boats were quite prone to nose diving. And now with the T-foil, you can let the foil off. And literally, as we come round the windward mark, and Tom's already mentioned routine, the routine is get that rudder off, get the foil off, ease it, so then the front of the bow comes up, and quite literally, if you let the foil control off, the bow of the boat can probably rise foot and a half above the water, so it makes a massive difference to the trim of the boat. So coming around the windward mark, you get the foil off, you start going downwind, and then paradoxically you actually put the foil back on a bit more once you get going, to try and just get the bow of the boat skimming the water, and that's really the fastest point at which you can achieve downwind. So as you can see, the helm spends a lot of time actually trimming the foil, and this guy does the rest of it.
It's pretty tough at the front though, isn't it? You're a fairly physical sort of thing, hoisting that big kite.
I don't find it difficult at all.
Okay. Has anybody got any questions about, we've got a bit of time, anybody got questions about the current 14s or their foils and things like that? Or anything about the history? I don't know if anybody got... No, good, that's good. So we could talk about something else. Next year, you've got the Worlds in Sydney. What's sailing like there? Because it's one of those places everyone wants to go. You've been there?
Yeah, I've sailed 18s in Sydney Harbour, and I must say it's a spectacular place to sail. But I think there are quite a lot of challenges in terms of traffic. I don't know if anybody's watched the 18-foot videos and the infamous Manly Ferry and things like that. There's a lot of obstacles there, so I think it's going to be quite an interesting place to sail. But I think the part of the harbour we're sailing in for the Worlds is a little bit quieter. But I think it'll be an awesome place, and it's a great place to showcase the class as well in terms of the population there. They love their sailing, so for us to get the 14s in Sydney, I think it's a great thing for the class. It should be a spectacular event.
Now we've got fleets in the UK, obviously, in Germany, Denmark, Italy, France, Canada, Bermuda, the States, Japan, Australia, New Zealand. Who's going to win?
The Brits.
Of course, the Brits. Tom, just another question for you. I mean, going to championships like this with your dad, you must get to sail in some quite interesting places, some exciting waters. Where's the best place you've raced the 14 so far, do you think?
It's quite a difficult question, actually. I have to say Germany this year was good, because although it's been deemed to be really hard and windy conditions, it wasn't actually that too difficult. And it was quite a good challenge, apart from the weather being awful. But I think Sydney is going to be the place to want to sail, really. That's like skiff sailing's home, as if it were.
Well, okay, well, thank you very much, Tom and Andy, whose name I forgot earlier. Thank you very much, and I think a brief round of applause for the guys. Thank you very much, and wish them luck in Sydney. Because we're going to ask